The magical cell phone. It's the magical cell phone. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by community guidelines. It's so important. Once again, welcome to the live chat, the livest chat on YouTube with the livest hosts, the livest members and moderators and subscribers. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. It's so important. First in the chat, Ozzy Cosby with the Rich of Destruction. What's up with you, Ozzy Crosby? Thank you for coming in. Relax and talk sports in the building. Trump news, Trump news. Trump news, giving Democrats the boo-boos, giving Democrats the boo-boos. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what it is. Can we get it going? Can we get it going? It's Wednesday, baby. What we do on Wednesday? All we do is win, win, win. And if you came from MAGA, put your hands in the air. Let them stay there. And if you came from MAGA, put your hands in the air, let them stay there. That's all we do on Wednesday, man. I mean, we do it every day. All we do is win. It's victories on top of victories. Y'all know I've been sliding in the victories every now and then. Remember, I told them about them 48 confirmations in one day. I've been telling them about the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court ruling with Donald Trump over and over again. We've been sliding in how JD Vance is making such an advancement. How proud are you of JD Vance? A lot of us was worried. I'll be honest, I was worried. JD Vance is young. He's not as seasoned as other politicians, but JD Vance is impressing me. I'm extremely happy with what I see. You know, I've been weaving in them victories because it's Wednesday and we got to talk about our victories. We didn't know and expect. On this channel, we said, and it's a somber moment. It's a somber moment. It's a victory, but it's a somber moment because Charlie Kirk passed away. Rest in peace. God bless Charlie Kirk and his family. We talked about the 2028 election. I just read where Gavin Newsom and the Democrats are scared. They are terrified. They already understand that 2026 is gone and they are fighting life and death for 2028. And it is going down right now. What JD Vance has done in this moment in time, what the Republicans have done in this moment in time, and the true reflection, the true reflection that the Democrats have provided. I mean, who could have, I don't know who scheduled this book tour. I don't know who scheduled the rollout of Kamala Harris' book, but it was perfectly timed for you to get a perfect juxtaposition to see what your choice is going to be. But you just had this choice. We got 3.5 more years. We got 3.5 more years of winning. We got 3.5 more years of Trump being productive on a daily basis. Let me introduce the podcast so you know who I am. Back at it like a crack at it, automatic like a fomatic, built from tragedy, made for static. It's your boy, Perfect Timing Podcast, back with the blast, in and out with a dash. 2025 won't last. We're going to get this done fast. And I would not have said it, and I would not have believed it, but thank you for creating it. Do you understand what I'm saying? 2028 is off and running. Kamala Harris is not waiting 2 years, 5 years. She is starting her campaign now. She's going to run for president the entire term of Donald Trump. Gavin Newsom is starting his campaign now, but they have nothing to run on. But what I do see is JD Vance coming up. Oh, man, I'm so proud of my brother getting out in public, taking a position. I said Kamala Harris is trying to defend not doing Joe Rogan, where JD Vance boldly, proudly did a live stream. When the last time you've ever seen a politician do a live stream for multiple hours and take live questions? Do you know how much that could be detrimental to you and your brand because you don't know what's going to happen on the live stream? The microphone, the camera, camera, the lighting, it's so difficult to get it right the first time. And how proud I was to see him not only host the Charlie Kirk show, but host it via live stream, not pre-recorded, because I'm the vice president and I'm going to run for president and I don't want you to ask me certain questions or anything. See, that's what Kamala Harris did as the vice president, and it didn't work. JD Vance is impressing me. Can you say you impressed by JD Vance? JD Vance is impressing me because of I am a live streamer. I understand what it means. See, Kamala Harris understood what it meant to go on Joe Rogan. She purposely avoided those podcasts, and it costed her the election. Donald Trump went on Joe Rogan. JD Vance went on Tim Dillon. JD Vance today still has a friendship with Tim Dillon, Joe Rogan, and the podcast bros. But I'm not going to say Dave Smith, because Dave Smith sold us out. But I just want to speak about the fact that JD Vance in this time has done a great job hosting the Charlie Kirk show. Thank you for hosting the Charlie Kirk show. And thank you for showing up for the American people. Thank you, Donald Trump, for showing up to the memorial. Thank you, Elon Musk, multi-billionaire, putting your differences to the side. And seeing the moment, reading the room. Elon Musk, a multi-billionaire, understanding. Did you see what Google released? Did you see what Google released? Google can apologize, but some people can't apologize. Google could make amends, but some people refuse to make amends. Google now admits that it canceled people unfairly. Google will now reinstate certain channels that got canceled unfairly. I need everybody double tap, hit the like button as you come in. Double tap, hit the like button. Should we pause for a station identification? Because you know it's so great, man. Californication for the nation, station identification. Californication for the nation, station identification. My name is Perfect. Good morning to you. This is the top of the mid-morning podcast from an OG perspective. All we do is Trump news, giving Democrats the boo-hoo-hoo blues. If you didn't know, it's the hottest podcast, the most intellectual conversation on YouTube. I got my members and my moderators in the chat. You see Family Guy, you see Ozzy Crosby, you see Relax and Talk Sports, and more members and moderators will show up throughout the show, and you will be able to participate in one of the most vigorous intellectual debates ever on live stream, ever on the computer, ever on YouTube. Thank you for showing up, but you should be in the chat thanking the moderators, thanking the guests, thanking the content, because what we're going to do is take you to another level of content creation, another level of live streaming that you didn't know was possible. You want to be a member, you have to join, you have to subscribe, you want to participate, you want the live stream to go to that next level, you have to double tap and hit the live button. Double tap, hit the live button. We are in the motion, we are in the ocean, and we are not doing this with no lotion. Look how shiny I am. Shining. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Everybody in the chat, say what's up. Share unity, share love, share peace, share blessings, because that was Charlie Kirk's message, and that's our message here. MAGA means MAGA is an acronym. This is Wednesday where all we do, MAGA, is win. That's all we do, man. I mean, how could we ask, number one, Jimmy Kimmel gets canceled? We're going to play the video. I want to know from you. I want to know from you. Did Jimmy Kimmel say anything worthy of being fired? I said, when I first start my show, I say, thank you everybody for coming to the live stream. Thank you, YouTube. I say, remember to guide your privacy. YouTube puts a little paragraph when we start our live stream. It says, guide your privacy and remember. Can anybody say it with me in the chat? And remember to respect and follow the community guidelines. Can I get it in the chat? Because more truth and information is coming out about what actually Jimmy Kimmel went through. Because Jimmy Kimmel still is in the spin zone. Jimmy Kimmel is still with the Democratic narrative, and he wants to be a Democratic operative because he's not being honest about FCC rules and regulations. It has nothing to do with Mr. Carr. It has nothing to do with Trump appointment. It has everything to do with everything I do here every day. The fact that I must also abide by community guidelines. You must also abide by community guidelines for the better of the public, for the better of YouTube, so that we continue to have YouTube, so that we continue to have a vigorous debate. You have to respect. You have to show respect, empathy, understanding. But some of you think, because I believe under the Sleepy Joe administration, see, the rules were perverted. The rules got changed. And thank you to Google. Can we get a thank you to Google? Can we get a thank you to YouTube? How brave. How they did not have to make this announcement. How brave. I love my company. I love the company that I work for. Greatest company, greatest app, YouTube. Download it right now. If you're not watching me on the YouTube app, I need you to go download the YouTube. Go to Chrome, go to your Google Play Store and download the YouTube app. It's going to look better. It's going to sound better. YouTube did not have to come out with that statement. YouTube did not. See, we expected an apology, but we didn't get it from where we expected it. We knew we deserved an apology, but we knew about the spin zone. Did you know and hear about the shooting in Dallas? Did you hear about the shooting there? ICE, another person with a bullet inscribed. We're going to get to Charlie Kirk. We're going to get to Jimmy Kimmel. Another shooting. Someone is targeting ICE, and they wrote and inscribed on the bullet. I'm saying these things are not a coincidence. I said here, we knew the climate. I said there were 3 assassination attempts on my president, Donald Trump. He was shot in the ear. Fight, fight, fight in the chat. Fight, fight, fight in the chat. Someone died that day. They had temps protecting Donald Trump that day. Did you know they weren't Secret Service? All of MAGA has done this research. We don't get to talk about what happened to President Donald Trump. The failures, because if we unpack the failures of Trump, then we can understand more what happened to Charlie Kirk. I said, if they ever, but see, the Democrats and the liberals run the media. So we never had a real conversation about what happened to our president. 3 attempts before he ever run the election. And on that day, you thought those people in black blazers were Secret Service. After MAGA, independent media, thank you, YouTube, independent media did research, and we found out that they were not all Secret Service. That's why the Secret Service leader at the time had to step down. Why did you have temps protecting the most influential president in our time? The big, beautiful bill, multi-trillion, Project 2025. They knew what was coming. I said MAGA knew the climate. Project 2025. Do you remember how they tried to scare you? This, if you want to know where all the political violence, where all the political uproar, do you remember how terrified the American people were, especially minorities, of Project 2025? It was almost like Y2K. It was this luminous thing. Barack Obama talked about it. Whoopi Goldberg talked about it. Oprah, everybody. Gail Key, Project 2025. Black people should be afraid. Minorities and gays, don't vote for Trump. Project Heritage. And what has happened? What has happened? Where is the Project 2025 boogeyman? For all of the Project 2025 boogeyman talk, Jasmine Crockett, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine, none of them fought the big, beautiful bill. The big, beautiful bill went through the House and the Senate like butter. Double tap and hit the like button. Double tap and hit the like button. Did you hear what I said? All of us do. Just so for the trolls, double tap and hit the like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. The live is chat. The live is podcast. Why do you even know the reference? Why do you even know what I mean when I say Project 2025? Let's just go right to the heart of the issue. Let's not do no BS this morning, because there's a lot of people who play around in my chat. You don't even understand how they programmed you. You would never know about the Heritage Foundation or Project 2025. Can you just honestly tell me why you even know about it? Do you even know why they even brought it up? You don't even know. You just know it was installed as part of the democratic hypnosis into your ideology. You never read it. You never heard of it. You don't know what the Heritage Foundation is. You think it's an actual foundation. You don't know your own Democratic platform. Guess how I know that? Because the Young Turks Jubilee revealed it, that the Democrats don't even know their own platform. And that's why the Democrats don't implement what's on the platform. You don't remember? So tell me, why do you even know what Project 2025 is? Is it because Trump brought it up? Is it because the Republicans brought it up? Who scared you? Who? Joy Reid. I remember Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow reading Project 2025 like it was a horror book, like it was the new Harry Potter. Do you guys remember 2024? Am I the only one alive? Is the MAGA Republicans the only intellectuals in the house? Anybody want to be honest? Anybody want to be any other intelligent people? Double tap and hit the like button. Double tap and hit the like button. You are watching the Perfect Timing Podcast. I remember CNN. I remember MSNBC. I remember all of the Democratic liberal pundits reading Project 2025 like it was a horror story right before the Democrats went to bed. Did you know about Project 2025? Let me turn the page. You should be afraid. You don't want to vote for Trump. Why you don't want to vote for Trump? Because he's going to implement policy. Well, don't the Democrats implement policy? Why should I vote for the Dems? Wait a minute. Did anybody stop to add? This is going to be funny. This is going to be funny. This is going to be hilarious. Why shouldn't you vote for Trump? He's going to implement Project 2025. Oh, Trump is going to implement policy. Well, don't the Democrats implement policy? Why the Democrats and Joy Reid was reading and scaring you with Project 2025? You know it would have been a great idea. You know it might be still a great idea today for Kamala Harris while she's on this 107-day book tour. How about a policy? Yeah. How about a policy, Democrats? How about a policy, Kamala Harris? Instead of trying to scare the American people with Project 2025, how about you read your project and plan for the American people? Why are you reading Project 2025? Maybe because you don't have one. Why were they reading Project 2025? Maybe because they didn't have anything more compelling to compare and juxtapose and to make you come over here. That's typically what you do. You got Project 2025, well, I got Project whatever, and it's better. Come over and vote for me. But that's not what the Democrats do. The Democrats don't present to you a choice. They don't believe in democracy. They don't present to you a choice. They don't believe in democracy. The Democrats don't say the Republicans have Project 2025. We have this. No, they read to you our policy and it went through Congress. Thank you, Joy Reid. Thank you, CNN. Thank you for reading Project 2025 because the big, beautiful bill passed like butter. Butter. Can you say butter in the chat? Parquet butter. Parquet butter. Thank you. We're going to talk today about the non-apology. Jimmy Kimmel ducks an apology after getting a second chance. We're going to play the video because I got some questions for Jimmy Kimmel. Double tap, hit the like button, man. Enjoy the chat, man. And like I said, man, respect the community guideline because this is the livest chat on YouTube, the most intellectual debate, and you will get exited out of the chat and you will regret it. You will get exited out of the chat for your ill-fitting joke, comment, and then you will have to go watch some traumatized, emotional men who don't know how to control their feelings in a circle jerk on the panel. So you can either enjoy this intellectual conversation in the chat, or you can go back over there to that panel circle jerk where emotional men don't have wives, don't have girlfriends, don't shave, don't have money, don't have jewelry, just have anger and pain and feelings. You can exit stage left, back over to that panel and go back into your circle jerk. We gonna do this Trump news, giving Democrats the boo-hoo-hoo blues. We get 100 likes 5 minutes ago. Station identification. You are watching the Perfect Timing Podcast. Back with a blast, in and out with a dash. Double tap real fast. Double tap real fast. Jimmy Kimmel's original comments. Jimmy Kimmel's original comments. I got up the fake apology, but I want the original comments. And did you guys hear about the ICE? So there was a shooting in Dallas. But this already, when I read Cash Patel said there was another attack in Dallas on ICE. So we have a lot of people. I believe a cell has been activated. I think we're not being told the truth, and I think we need to become more politically advantageous during this Trump presidency. I think I'm doing the podcast. Candace Owens is doing her part, but I'm going to call on MAGA. I'm going to call on all American citizens to wake up and realize the time that we're in. I think we took too lightly people burning up Teslas. I work in IT. Anybody work in IT? Anybody understand what happens when you burn up a cell phone and what type of combustion happens when you burn up a Tesla? We took that too lightly. But I said on my channel, we understood the climate because there were 3 assassinations attempts on Donald Trump. They had attempts protecting Donald Trump. So when I saw Teslas being burnt up, I understood the climate. Now we're seeing another assassination, another sniper, another rifle. There's too many coincidences. My grandmother said there's no such thing as coincidences. In Dallas, someone targeted ICE for the second time. 2 months ago, someone targeted ICE. Last night, this morning, they are doing an investigation. They have Cash Patel posted on his X account the shell casings that are eerily similar to Tyler Robinson and the Charlie Kirk assassination. Now we have another leftist, a radicalized leftist. How many people knew? I'm telling you, we knew the climate in MAGA, but Trump had been saying it for 4 years as they radicalized more leftists. How many people knew and understand that there was a radical left? Everybody knows about the alt-right. Everybody knows about the Proud Boys. Everybody knows about J6. But I think today, in this climate, America is waking up to the radical left and what the radical left is possible of. And I'm going to say right now today that Jimmy Kimmel is part of the radical left. And if Jimmy Kimmel could not read the room and understand that apology was not about, see, Jimmy Kimmel, like I said about most Democrats, personalize the situation. It's about America. It's about the time and the climate. And I promise you, Jimmy, your comments will not age well because you are refusing to, and you are hypnotized, like Kamala Harris said, and you all are ignoring the radical left. Yes, there is a radical left. And if you don't believe it, you don't have to stop at 3 assassination attempts. For you think I'm gonna go to Charlie Kirk? No, I'm gonna take my time. I'm an old man. We're gonna build this argument. We're gonna build this argument like Brian Steele of the YSL. We're gonna build this argument. We're gonna start with 3 assassinations attempts on the current president, where 1 assassination attempt was almost successful and someone passed away. Donald Trump was shot in the ear and the man behind him died. What we learned that day is at the head of the Secret Service, who was a woman who didn't have the proper experience, but she wasn't a black woman, she was a white woman. And she did not have the proper experience, like the president of Harvard that got put out for plagiarism. So this woman was not experienced in leading the Secret Service, and she allowed temporary employees who were not trained Secret Service to guard the former president, Donald Trump. Donald Trump had already been president. He was going to be president. Why would you have temporary employees guarding the next president? She couldn't even answer. Under Inquisition, when they brought her to Capitol Hill, she had no intelligent response, and the American people jaw dropped. I was shocked. I work in temp. I told you I work in tech. We use temp consultants all the time. But to understand that Secret Service, is this how bad Black Lives Matter defund the police has affected law enforcement in America, that we are short staffed at the Secret Service? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Before this administration, we were short staffed at the Secret Service. In Chicago PD, short staffed. In Washington, D.C., short staffed. East Oakland, all of these cities suffered from the Police Reform Act and Black Lives Matter defund the police rhetoric. It was not just the Democratic liberal policy of the Police Reform Act, it was the hypnosis that took place during those Marxist, George Soros sponsored riots that took hold of the youth that do not want to become police officers. They had the lower requirements for ICE, and now people who are everyday people. Now think about this. Americans are targeting Americans. Listen to what I'm saying. They lowered the requirements for ICE. So you have more everyday people working for ICE. There's a meme on X where the Democrats are making fun of an overweight man who got a job at ICE. Like it's most Americans, 60% of Americans are overweight. Why are the Democrats, who's supposed to be the party of the voice of the people, the downtrodden, the minorities, the hurt, the people who don't have a voice? Y'all don't understand this leftist radicalization. See, it's okay for them to make fun of people. It's not okay for you to say anything. You get canceled. But the Democrats are making fun of ICE employees. And next thing you know, someone starts targeting ICE employees, and someone murdered an ICE employee with a rifle, and the round had inscriptions on it similar to the Charlie Kirk murder. Do you guys understand the climate? Do you know this podcast is important? This podcast is not a joke. This podcast is important because of the facts we provide. You know, we have a goal of 15 super chats. We don't have any super chats yet. Shout out to Valerie and everybody who donated and supported yesterday. We're going to do this one time. Remind everybody about the 15 super chat goal. It's not that many super chats. We get about 1,000 people watching. It's only 10% of the people watching that need the super chat to reach our goal. Thank you to everybody watching. Jimmy Kimmel did not understand this leftist radicalization. I don't know if Jimmy knew about the shooting when he did his monologue, but he should have known about the shooting that took place 2 months ago. But now Jimmy is still on this MAGA, because do you guys remember under the last administration, Sleepy Joe, Let's Go Brandon wanted to put MAGA as terrorists? Because like I said, everybody's familiar with the Proud Boys. Everybody's familiar with the alt-right. The alt-right, maybe you should ask yourself, why are you so familiar with these terms? You're not alt-right. Think about it. Most Americans are not. It's a new term. Why do you know these terms? Who put these terms in the lexicon? And imagine being a white man in 2022 and 2024, being forced into these corners, being forced into being alt-right or neo-national, when you never subscribe yourself as alt-right or any of these new hyperbolic terms that I argue lead to this leftist radicalization, because people are terrified. They don't think it's simply left and right debating for the better of the house. They think there are alt-right individuals out there who don't want the better for American people, who need to be stopped, maybe because the last administration kept saying that like a hypnosis over and over and over. They talked about J6 over and over and over. Imagine living in an America when you're being forced and terrified. Now, what if you got scared? Think about How you become radicalized on the left. What if you were afraid? What if you were transitioning? What if you were LGBTQ and you started to learn about this fictitious thing created by the Democrats called the alt-right? What if it invoked fear? You know what scared dogs do? You know what scared? They act out, they lash out. So what if the Democrats' goal was to instill fear? And that is part, I argue, of this radicalization of the left. I talk to you a lot about the fear that the Democrats lead with. That is their bully pulpit, fear. Fear rules the day for the Democrats. And if all you do is scare people with ominous news reports about Project 2025 and the alt-right, I am telling you, when we have an opiate crisis, a mental health crisis, a single parent home crisis, 70% of families are getting divorced. Look at Kyle Rittenhouse. There are effects from a single parent home. Kyle Rittenhouse is a product of a single parent home. If his father and mother would not divorce, and this has been researched and admitted, Kyle Rittenhouse would have been in the house. His father would not have allowed him out as a teenager at 2-3 o'clock in the morning with a rifle, unless his father was going with him to the protest to protect family. But that is not what happened. I say the left has been radicalized by fear, and we are seeing the results. And Jimmy Kimmel did not read the room. Jimmy Kimmel failed. Let me get it right. He not only failed last night when he refused to apologize for his statements that I believe contribute to radicalizing the left. He failed the first time when he even spoke about the Charlie Kirk murder so soon when the FBI ballistics haven't even come back. And Jimmy, you should have been quiet, because now look at the writing on the wall. Today, this morning, there's another shooter, another radicalized leftist who used a high-powered rifle and engravings on the shell casing. What does that say to you, Jimmy? That says your rhetoric is having an effect, and it's having a negative effect. You must be honest now. It's not about Charlie Kirk. It's not about you, Jimmy. It's about the Americans who love this country and want America to be great for everybody. Jimmy Kimmel and the Democrats do not care. They are personalizing every issue and not seeing. Jimmy Kimmel got emotional and cried because he was afraid what people thought about him. I'm going to play the video. He was afraid what people would think about him, not the ICE agent who was murdered by another radicalized leftist. Jimmy, all you had to do was acknowledge the radical left so that we can stop the violence. Jimmy Kimmel had an opportunity to acknowledge there is something called the radical left, and left-leaning media has to step up when it comes to our rhetoric, because we need to be responsible. And thank you to the FCC. See, you guys think it's Trump until you start to listen to my argument. You listen to my argument, right? And you think about the ICE shooting. And you say to yourself, well, you know what? I don't like this guy, but he has a point. Jimmy Kimmel, he personalized this. Jimmy Kimmel wants this to be about him, Charlie Kirk, and Trump. It's not about any of those things. Surprise, Jimmy Kimmel. MAGA is way more intellectual than you would let on. We see the climate. I read the room. We knew what this was going back to the Trump 3 assassinations. We knew about this radical left. They would not stop trying to kill our president. We knew the radical left existed, and we saw you guys make it worse. After each assassination attempt, the left refused to pull back, which is why we got assassination attempt number 2. Do you guys hear me? The left refused to pull back on the rhetoric that Donald Trump was a boogeyman. He hasn't hurt anyone. Since he's been in office, all Donald Trump has been is a productive president. But before his inauguration, the left continued to scare you. One assassination attempt. They did not back off the rhetoric. Just like Jimmy Kimmel did last night. Assassination attempt number 2, where someone actually dies. Do you remember that they did not back off of the rhetoric? Don Lemon, Rachel Maddow, they gave reports as if it was Donald Trump's fault. Nobody was inquisitive to the Secret Service failure. They fought back against MAGA calling for the resignation of the head of the Secret Service. They called us that we didn't believe in women. What about Pam Bondi? What about Tulsi Gabbard? She was incompetent. She needed to be fired. She allowed 3 attempts on the president's life. One person died. Donald Trump was shot in the ear. Why should she keep her job? Why was it about her being a woman? See, this is what I'm talking about. We knew the climate. We knew the radical left existed. We saw a Tyler Robinson that day on that roof in that cornfield. Who knows? Okay, so now we got 3 Tyler Robinsons. Can we have a talk this morning? We have 3 Tyler Robinsons we can point to. 3 white male radicalized leftists who are assassins with high-powered rifles. No one else is linking this together because we're not allowed to, but thank you, YouTube. YouTube gave people like me the freedom to have an honest conversation, because a lot of times we're afraid of getting our channels canceled. But now YouTube is saying we have free speech. So now we can connect the dots of all of the white men who are radicalized leftists. Do y'all remember the guy by the golf course? He was a radicalized leftist, an older white man, and then they showed him in his political views. He was a radicalized leftist with a high-powered rifle. Was there a book written that we don't know about, MAGA? What's going on, MAGA, that we don't know about? Number one, MAGA, we got to step up. And at these rallies and everything where we are at, we need to have security, and we need to be profiling white men with a left-leaning background, right? We need to start profiling and understand it's no longer a joke. It's not about race. It's not about white or black. It's about a threat. And we have white men who are radicalized leftists who are out here committing murders with high-powered rifles with inscriptions on the bullet. We can't ignore it anymore. And Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know how Jimmy Kimmel misses this. I don't know how you miss the FCC understanding this logic. See, the Democrats are devoid of logic. The FCC gets it. The FCC gets it that you are stoking the fire, Jimmy. When you come on before the FBI completes its investigation, before the coroner report, before the ballistics, and you try to haphazardly link this incident to MAGA, you are stoking the flames of leftist radicalization. Jimmy refuses to admit that despite everything I have argued this morning. How can you not, when there were 3 leftist radicalists who tried to kill Donald Trump, then another leftist radicalist killed Charlie Kirk, another leftist radicalist kills our ICE agent. Jimmy Kimmel needs to be off the air. Jimmy Kimmel has an inability to read the room. Yes, the left has been radicalized by operatives like Jimmy Kimmel, like Joy Reid, like Rachel Maddow, stoking the flames of fear. And regular everyday Americans who are not political pundits, who are not YouTubers, at home listening to you, Jimmy, listening to you, Joy Reid, listening to you, Rachel Maddow, and they believe your lies, and they got afraid. They were scared of Project. You told them to be afraid. You literally told them to be afraid of Trump, you literally said these words. How would you react? How would you react? Someone tells you to be afraid. Someone tells you to be afraid. It's like a human reaction. They radicalize the left. And they won't stop. And they won't stop.
You've seen them before. They come around every...
It's sick and perverted. How did Jimmy Kimmel not read the room? Shout out to my brother. So, Family Guy, everybody in the chat, salute to you. Like, share, and subscribe. It's the perfect timing podcast. Isn't it so poignant? Isn't it so poignant? It's the perfect timing podcast. Double tap, hit the like, share, and subscribe. Double tap, like, share, and subscribe. Perfect timing podcast with the dash and the blast. Okay. We're going to watch the original video, and then we're going to watch the follow-up video. Now, after the original video, I'm going to have some questions. I'm going to have some questions for you about whether or not you believe an apology was warranted. Whether or not you believe an apology was warranted. And it's not easy to find these videos, but it's important that we unpack this. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm going to get you some more details on the Dallas ICE incident. I have a video. Let me play this video. Let's play some videos. I'm making an
That's
argument.
happening in the United.
I'm making an argument right now. I'm making the Democrats. I'm gonna play a video for you so it validates my argument. I want to hear from you in the chat, people who disagree. Listen to this video. I argue the Democrats have not stopped with their rhetoric of fear, and that is radicalizing the left. When someone, authoritarian government, authoritarian actions, that's the fear, that's the language. Let's look it up. These words have a definition. He implies pushback. He said if someone jumps out with a mask, he leaves out the fact that they have on ICE uniforms, that they're Americans. They are Americans. They're not third party. They're not Blackwater. They are Americans, and they lowered the requirement. They are fat, short, everyday Americans. You know that when they get out the van, they don't get out fast. The van says ICE. Their clothing says ICE. So now that you said, this was last night, Gavin Newsom said he didn't want them to have on the mask. What happens after he says this last night and no man, someone gets shot in Texas? After Gavin Newsom says on the same thing like Jimmy Kimmel, this is Colbert, Gavin Newsom says authoritarian, calling Trump's administration authoritarian actions. Would you be afraid? How would you react? How would you react? If you were Democratic, I argue this is the radicalization. Authoritarian, it's a political system characterized by the concentration of power in a single leader. Now, I've argued that Nancy Pelosi's been in office 30 years. She's older than Donald Trump. She's older than Joe Biden. She's enriched herself she's almost worth $500 million. This argument about authoritarianism, but they ignored the Democrat elites who die in office. Dianne Feinstein is not authoritarianism. Dianne Feinstein got rich and died in office. They said toward the end of her career, she wasn't even cognizant enough to vote. her people behind her were voting for her. That's not democracy. I say Democrats all the time. Nancy Pelosi, $400 million, 85 years old, and she still won't say that she won't run another term. She's going to be 90 years old and die in office. And you want to say, and you want to gin up, and you want to cause leftist radicalization with these lies. Trump is a billionaire, buddy. Trump doesn't want to be in office. I'm surprised that Trump even risked his life, and I am thankful. MAGA says thank you to Trump, because I'm surprised that a billionaire with an 18-year-old son and a Playboy wife would risk his life for you people who don't appreciate his hard work. That's authoritarianism. A single leader or a small elite, the Democratic elite. It's perverse. Gavin Newsom, you are part of this. You created some of the most restrictive COVID policies, and then you broke them. Nancy Pelosi broke them. You and Nancy Pelosi said people can't go to get beauty salon and can't have dinner parties, and then you broke it. And then you did whatever you wanted to do. You're not an authoritarian. Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, can we be honest, Gavin? You said don't have dinner parties. You said wear a mask. You said don't go to beauty. And you did. You broke every single rule. You slept with your best friend's wife. It's sick, Gavin. I want to read this definition. Let me finish the definition. Double tap. I need 100 likes 5 minutes ago. Why y'all playing with the likes? Why y'all playing with the likes this morning and know where my super chats? Do we need to slow the podcast down? Because the views keep going up and down. Somebody not having a good day today at YouTube. Somebody not having an entertaining podcast, because I'm kicking butt this morning. I need my likes. I need my double taps. Come on now, double tap and hit the like button, man, and hit that super chat. You're watching the most fire podcast on YouTube. Don't be stingy. Because I'm cooking this morning. Every time I get to cooking the Democrats, all this happened. They just get in their fifis. They get in their fifis. I'm not going to stop cooking them. They just killed the ICE agent in Dallas. He was a radicalized leftist. I'm not going to stop cooking him. He should have apologized. Let me check. I can't even. We're not going to stop cooking them. Oh, you talking about my big ears? You going to talk about my big ears? Salute to you. Salute to you. Much love to you, man. Much love to you. Big Mac Sauce, that's a great name. Double tap, hit the like. We need 100 likes 5 minutes ago. Let's read this definition for authoritarianism. Because I say this is how the left got radicalized. This is how you radicalize the left. Terminology like this, rhetoric like this. That's very strong rhetoric. That's extremely strong rhetoric. When you say pushback, when you describe a scenario, when you describe it, which is a false equivalent, because that's not happening. That's not happening. They have ICE. It's a federal agency. They have identification. It's a federal agency. So it's a false equivalency. That's not what's happening. There are no boogeyman jumping out, kidnapping people. People committing crimes are being arrested for committing crimes by authorized federal agents who happen to be American citizens who might be your best friend, which is why they wear the mask. And now they have to fear being murdered. Because rhetoric from Gavin Newsom and the leftist Democrats. Now ICE agents, what do you want, Democrats? What do you want, leftists? What do you want? You want the ICE agents to go away? We had an immigration problem of 10 million people. What do you want? You want to give the country to Mexico? This is what's happening in Switzerland and Sweden. This is what Brexit is all about, because Democrat leftists and leftist leaning leaders in Britain and Canada say just give it up. Just give up the country to the Africans. Just say Switzerland is not going to be Switzerland no more. That's what you want. You want ICE agents to go away. You want Gavin Newsom. You want Californication for the nation. You want Gavin Newsom to give them driver's licenses before they even become citizens and learn about the culture. Gavin Newsom gives them driver's licenses before they become citizens and know about the culture. And that resulted in a multi-homicide. Did you know that Gavin Newsom gave out a driver's license to an immigrant who wasn't a citizen and it resulted in death? Just like this rhetoric about authoritarianism, let me read the definition. So it says a political system characterized by concentration of power in a single leader or small elite. Like I talk about Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic multi-millionaire elite, Adam Schiff, Latia James, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, the squad. It says a small elite. Their name is the squad. I am not making this up. This is the definition. They live by these tenements. A small elite. The squad is a small elite with limited or no constitutional accountability to the people. The squad, it emphasizes blind submission to authority, blind submission. How would you feel if Gavin Newsom, the governor, gets on television and tells you that the current administration is authoritarian and you should push back? How does that look, Gavin Newsom? Because I argue it looks like what happened in Dallas. I argue your pushback is what happened in Dallas. Hello? When you say authoritarianism, a proud American thinks about his grandfather in World War II, a proud American who doesn't understand that it's democratic rhetoric radicalizing the left, a proud American who may be in the house, he may not have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, he may be depressed. He hears authoritarianism, he knows the definition. It says no constitutional ability. It says blind submission, authority. It says king. It says restricts individual freedoms, and they think they have to protect America. You have people believing Donald Trump is not for Americans. So they have become radicalized against the Trump presidency administration just so you can get popularity. Trump has been productive. Now it's resulting in loss of life, Democrats, and they won't back off. It's resulting in loss of life. They won't apologize and they won't back off. It says restricts individual freedoms and suppresses dissent to maintain political status quo. That ain't that worse or the same as what Jimmy Kimmel said? Ain't that worse or the same as what Jimmy Kimmel said? They are. That's my argument this morning. And I am backed up by facts. You have more blood on your hands, Democrats. I'm making that argument also this morning. There is another death after you attacked the ICE agent 2 months ago. That's before Charlie. The violence is coming from the left. Who can you find me? Someone on the right who has used a high-powered rifle with inscribed words on the casing of the shell. This is becoming a modus operandi. This is becoming something that now MAGA can profile because we are seeing the same assailant over and over again. Once that starts to happen, Gavin, we can identify him. Double tap, hit the like, man. That 100 likes is coming slow. That 100 likes is coming slow. I need that double tap, hit the like button. That 100 likes is coming slow. We should have had that 100 likes 5 minutes ago. It's a lot of new watchers today. I want to thank everybody new watching. This is the hottest podcast on YouTube. Today, this is Trump news, Trump news, Trump news, giving Democrats the boo-hoo-hoo blues. What we talking about is Californication for the nation. That's what we talking about. Gavin Newsom bringing San Francisco to your city. And I said yesterday that it's already started. Slow and steady wins the race. What's up with your Mrs. Perfect Time? Man, my chat is messed up on the phone, so I can't see the chat. So it's hard. And then when I can't watch it on the TV because it knocks out the views, man. We got 100 likes. Today is one of them days. Just one of them days. Just one of them days. Man, where my moderators at? When I tell you, they go crazy with the moderators must be at work right now. Because the trolls is having a good time this morning. Ozzy Cosby must be busy, but normally my moderators would be in here fighting the trolls. But we got the hottest podcast. We got the hottest chat. Shout out to all the chat people having a good time trolling, saying whatever you want to say. But we got like 20 members and I got a bunch of moderators, but everybody busy right now. So y'all go ahead and have fun in the chat, man. Like I said before, like Jimmy Kimmel, remember to lazy bones in the building with the wrench of destruction. Man, these people were happy when Trump was deplatformed. Yeah, they was. Now we got some people, some moderators in here. Go ahead and use that wrench, lazy bones. Mrs. Perfect Timing, there's a bunch. I've been trying to use my wrench as much as I can. The chat be so crazy. Mark Zimmerman, keep up the good work. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's crazy out there right now, man. It's crazy out there. So I got to close this down so my views will go back up. Can't double check it. So, okay, I showed you Gavin Newsom. I believe that is my argument about the rhetoric. That is my argument about the rhetoric. I want to play you a video. Oh, man, I hate when they do this to you. You have a video up and then they take it away. I had a video I wanted to show you guys. Then they took it away. But basically, it was about the rhetoric. We got a picture of the assailant. His name is Joshua Jans. Profile picture from his now wife Facebook page. Per the background check results reveal Antifa and communist imagery, radicalized leftists. The shooter in Dallas who killed 2 ICE agents. I mean, you could tell. Let's take a look at the picture. Anybody surprised that this is a radicalized leftist? Anybody surprised? This is the guy. It looks very similar to the guy who shot our president and very similar to the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. Here it is, Laura Loomer. You know who Laura Loomer is from the Candace Owens podcast. Candace Owens spoke about Laura Loomer. So this is a credible source. I did a background check on Joshua Jan, the ICE shooter in Dallas, Texas. Joshua profile picture is now wiped from Facebook page. Per the background check results reveals Antifa and communist imagery. The profile photo of an unarmed communist with a hammer and sickle. So he is a radicalized leftist from the BLM ilk, Marxist trade. And this is how it is resulting in America. Gavin Newsom, I believe Gavin Newsom probably said that before the attack. And I bet you, Gavin Newsom, those phrases, that speech you gave is not aging well. It is not aging well. Leftists attacked a Fort Worth ICE facility. Leftist radical attacked Catholic children. A leftist radical attacked Charlie Kirk. A leftist radical shot up an ABC station. Now there's a sniper in ICE in Dallas, all in a few weeks. I am saying to you, read the writing on the wall. All of these incidents are the same person. Now, how do Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel justify continuing the rhetoric when we know now there is a problem with you keep associating Trump with something that is, why do I love Trump? Gavin Newsom and Democrats. Trump hasn't hurt any American. Why do we? Trump doesn't want to be your king. Trump doesn't want to be president like until 85, like Nancy Pelosi, or die in office like Dianne Feinstein. This is sick rhetoric from the left who don't be honest about their own authoritarian figures. Like, how can you say such things that have such results when you have the individuals that you have in your party? Fani Willis, brother. Gavin Newsom, tell me about Fani Willis. Tell me about Mayor Bowser in Washington, D.C., who's been mayor for a decade. And then Marion Barry, who was in power for 32 years before that. Tell me about Black Death in Chicago. Tell me about 9 murders over the Labor Day weekend that was just a week or so ago. It doesn't affect you because you're not Black. You don't live in Southside Chicago. So you get to talk about the death from a different vantage point. But the death affects me. I talk about Chicago, D.C., East St. Louis, East Oakland, South Sac for a reason. Because I'm Black, I live and frequent these areas, and the death, I can smell the bodies. I can smell the bodies. And you talk about this like it's not real. Authoritarianism. This is the video I wanted to show. This is the video I wanted to show. Just to be honest about how they went the wrong direction. Gavin Newsom, Jimmy Kimmel, Democratic operatives, you guys don't say the 2026 election is rigged. Don't say 2028 is rigged. Say you are losing. Say Kamala Harris wrote a book telling the truth about how fractured and splintered. Say Kamala Harris wrote in her book that she called you when she got nominated for president, someone who used to work hand in hand with you in San Francisco and in the state capital of California. Kamala Harris had your back. Kamala Harris called you when she got the nomination. You said, I'm hiking, I'll call you back. She notes in the book, you never called her back. Did anybody ever see Gavin Newsom campaign for Kamala Harris? Did anybody ever see Gavin Newsom campaign for Kamala Harris? Never. Did anybody ever see Joe Biden or Jill Biden? Because Jill Biden was the president. Now we find out from Kamala Harris' book, there were speculations from MAGA. There was speculations from MAGA that Jill Biden was calling the shots, but we weren't sure. We knew that Joe Biden did not have the cognitive ability to make certain decisions, especially quickly. MAGA knew this already. But Kamala Harris, in excerpts from her book, 107 Days, where she said Gavin Newsom didn't call her back. Barack Obama said, I don't want to put a finger on the scale. Give Joe Biden his time. Nancy Pelosi did not. The Democratic elite, the small elite, remember I just read the definition, didn't support Kamala Harris. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest about the lack of coherent consistency of the Democratic Party as you tell me to be afraid of the Republicans. Gavin Newsom is telling us that we need to fear the Republicans. I think we need to fear you, buddy. I think we need to fear you, buddy. The person who lied to us about quarantine and then broke the rules. I think we need to fear you and your motives, because now there's no argument. What is it today? The 24th, 25th of September? There's no argument about, oh, it's a right-wing problem. There's no argument today. Today, after this Dallas shooting, there's no dispute about leftist radicals who using high-powered rifles and inscribed shell casings to commit horrendous acts of violence in America during this time. And it's dangerous. Listen to me. I argue it's dangerous for people like Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel to ignore the current climate, because you're going to get people hurt. I argue that Jimmy Kimmel and Gavin Newsom, with their democratic rhetoric and their selfish indignation, y'all help me with the word in the chat. With they selfish, whatever that word is getting people hurt. Now, I'm going to play a video to support my argument.
An officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities. And I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
That's it. That's all he said. The rhetoric has to stop. The rhetoric has to stop. Jimmy Kimmel, Gavin Newsom, the rhetoric has to stop. It has to stop. People are coming and killing ICE agents. They killed Charlie Kirk because you said Charlie Kirk was a racist, not that he believes in Jesus and God. What did his wife say? I forgive the shooter because that's what God would want. But leftists still want radicalization. I see every day somebody black. Charlie Kirk was racist. Anybody black that like Charlie Kirk, is something wrong with you. You're radicalizing people. You make black people feel pressure to hate Charlie Kirk, and then something bad happens because you won't hear, you gotta hate Charlie Kirk. Stop with the rhetoric. People are getting hurt, Democrats. Stop it and apologize, Jimmy Kimmel. If I were you, I would not respect Jimmy Kimmel. I would not support and watch that show, and I would demand, MAGA, we're going to demand he apologize, not only to Kirk and the family, but to the American people for lying and denying the facts on the ground that currently, so you guys could say, during the last administration, you were bold to say that we have a problem with neo-nationalization. They said it globally. Remember, you will not replace this theory. Remember all of that? The Democrats were proud to say that we have a problem with the alt-right. They canceled people. They arrested people. They put 1,500 people in jail from J6. Trump had to pardon them. Thank you, Trump. Thank you for pardoning those fathers. Regular, everyday Americans. They put those people in jail like they were from somewhere else. Those were white men, fathers with jobs, paying taxes. The Democrats just threw them away like they didn't matter. 1,500 fathers gone. Because the Democrats told you about this alt-right. And they put them in prison. They canceled people. Andrew Tate was canceled. They put Andrew Tate in prison. Does everybody forget? Are you forgetting the actual radicalized left and what they have done and the potential? When they were in power, they charged Trump with 36 felonies from a misdemeanor. When the radical left was in power, Trump just said to Pam Bondi, they tried to prosecute me 5 times. They lost every time. That is a misuse of prosecution. That was illegal, to use prosecution as a weapon and a political tool. That's what Trump is saying to Pam Bondi, because I was found innocent after every single, at the very least, these individuals should no longer be lawyers or have their jobs. Latia James should not head up the SDNY. Fannie Willis should not head up Fulton County at the very least. Mayor Bowser should no longer be mayor of Washington, D.C. at the very least. At the very least. Thank you for, I wanted to find that video. I'm so happy I found that video. Very short, 42 seconds. Just the sheriff said this is the second time that someone shot an ICE agent, and both of those were left-leaning radicalists. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. I want to show you, just so you, this is similar to Charlie Kirk. I'm telling you guys, this is an MO similar to Charlie Kirk. Similar to Charlie Kirk. Similar to Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying, man? And I don't understand. I just got to say, Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel, you know, everything happens for a reason. And Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel got egg on their face this morning after those comments on late night talk show hosts. Those were ill-fitting comments. This morning, there are Americans. Those men were officers of the federal government. Why does ICE exist? Why does ICE exist? Does anybody know why does ICE exist?
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize.
Why does ICE exist? We're going to play the original comments from Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm going to ask you, should Jimmy Kimmel have apologized and was he radicalizing? But why does ICE exist? Why does the TSA exist? The TSA exists after 9/11. Why does ICE exist? The ICE exists after your border czar, your favorite politician, the border czar. She said, don't come. Remember? But then she said she wasn't the border czar. We had 10 million. Some reports said 20 million people migrate here. ICE exists to help mitigate those problems at a federal level. ICE is a federal entity created to protect American system and value. What gets me so frustrated about these issues is when people talk about the National Guard. Do you understand what the National Guard is? The National Guard are teenagers. These are our kids, weekend warriors. They're not fully enlisted into the armed services. Thank you, everybody, for your service. Thank you, police officers. Thank you for all of our enlisted men who sacrifice their lives and their family because they leave their family to go fight wars for America. So thank you. I thought we had come to the point in America where we appreciated public servant, where we were appreciating police officers, where we were appreciating the soldiers. And the National Guard are weekend warriors who actually go to work, who actually have families, and then donate weekends to the American people to protect us. How could you weaponize Democratic rhetoric toward the National Guard in DC, LA, and Chicago? How could you suggest citizens push back against other citizens? The National Guard don't live overseas. They don't even live on base. The National Guard are our weekend warriors. You know about the National Guard. One weekend a month, they volunteer. They still have to go to work. Y'all didn't know this? You should feel sick. I feel disgusted by the Democrats who try to radicalize leftists to hurt other Americans. When these young radical left are shooting bullets in crowds full of Americans, it's sick and perverted, bro. They're radicalizing Americans to hurt other Americans, and then they lie about their words as if their words don't have any power. Let's listen to Jimmy Kimball's original statement that started all of this. Jimmy Kimmel is the one who started all of this. We are grieving Charlie Kirk. We are waiting for the investigation. We're not liking everything that comes out of the investigation, right? Because the FBI is doing piecemeal with the investigation. So Candace Owens is doing a great job helping us deal with our trauma by making sure we get the honest truth of what happened. And here comes Jimmy Kimmel. As we grieve because we don't have the truth, because they've given us convoluted message, here comes Jimmy Kimmel. When the investigation ain't done, when the investigation ain't even done, here comes Jimmy Kimmel. And he wants to make a joke. Ill-timed, ill-fitted joke about Charlie Kirk's homicide before we even know what happened. What's going on with my moderators? Everybody must be busy because somebody going crazy in the chat. What's up with you, Reservoir Souls? I'm going to have to get you up out of here, brother. Thank you. Get Reservoir Souls up out of here. I mean, this is the best live stream and the best chat in the business. So y'all better stay on your P's and Q's or you will be asked to leave. All right? You will be asked to leave. So respect the community guidelines. That's the truth about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. He violated FCC guidelines. And that's why a lot of affiliates won't touch him. And he would not even apologize. Let's listen to the original message from Jimmy Kimmel. Y'all let me know if he should have apologized.
This kid who murdered Charlie Kirk is anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from. Two lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing
the MAGA gang desperately trying to let's listen to it again because Jimmy Kimmel said he didn't. Then we're going to listen to him lie and say he did not.
Two lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
That's what Jimmy Kimmel said. Y'all hear me? That's what Jimmy Kimmel said. Because I think so much happens so fast that people forget. Jimmy, that's his words. He lied last night and said that he did not say that, but I just played you the original excerpt. He said the MAGA gang over the weekend has been trying to do everything to make this guy seem like everything but one of them. That is what happened. That is what he said. Now, what did Jimmy say when he returned? Let me see.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much.
This is what Jimmy said on his return last night. I know a lot of people work late and they haven't seen it yet.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human. And that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't, ever. And also selfishly,
that was Jimmy Kimmel's non-apology last night. Why is he emotional? Why is Jimmy Kimmel getting choked up? Why are you emotional? You still alive. You get to go home to your wife. You get to go hug your kids. Please explain to me, after you make everybody on the Charlie Kirk side feel pain by your joke, why is he get to be choked up? Why is Jimmy Kimmel emotional? I don't like this at all. I think this is fake. I think this is contrived. You owe an apology to Erica, to those children, to me, to the American people. Why are you choked up? You get to live. You still on TV. Why are you choked up, Jimmy Kimmel? Why are you so emotional? You ain't dead, Jimmy Kimmel. Why are you so emotional? That is so no tears. Just pretending to be choked up. You were laughing. Look, can we go back to the other video? We got to do a contrast. We gotta do it. Let's go back to, we gotta do a contrast. Cause it's almost, hold on. You hear those crocodile tears from the Democrats? Now listen to him make this joke. There's no tears. When he makes this joke about Charlie Kirk's death, there's no tears. When he associates the killer with MAGA, there's no tears.
Two lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from him.
He didn't get choked up. When he blamed MAGA for Charlie Kirk, there were no tears. I'll say it again. When he blamed MAGA for Charlie Kirk, there were no tears. There were no tears when he blamed MAGA for Charlie Kirk. Let's read what the FCC had to say. Nexstar Media Group today announced the company's own partner television stations affiliated with ABC Television will preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Nexstar strongly objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the event with Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliate markets. Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our nation's political discourse. That is a fact. That's all they needed. That's all they needed to say, Jimmy, you're gone. That's all they needed. That's what I said. It was ill-timed. It did not age well. You should have waited. We're still mourning. The investigation is piecemeal. They're not putting out all the information. I believe they're not putting out all the information because it's a deeper plot. And we see that now in Dallas, that there are other radicalized leftist shooters. I want to know, are they communicating on Discord? Are they communicating on a dark web? Is there a group? Is there a cell? Are there more? What's the next shooting? Where is the next shooting? Where is the next leftist radical with a high-powered rifle and engraved bullets gonna be striking next? That's the question, Jimmy. That's the question, Gavin. After so many repeated events with the same modus operandi, MAGA has to ask, who's next? We don't have the luxury to debate Gavin Newsom. Does everybody understand that? We do not have the luxury to debate Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel. They are killing us. So I don't want to argue with any Jimmy Kimmel or Gavin Newsom. They just murdered 2 ICE agents with the same modus operandi. We can't argue anymore with Democrats. We have to be prepared. Now, okay, I want to say something. I told you I found Charlie Kirk via Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder did an interview the other day. Steven Crowder said, are you calling for violence? Steven Crowder said, no, I'm not calling for violence. But MAGA needs to understand that there is an enemy out there who wants to hurt you, and you need to protect yourself. We got to stop arguing with the Democrats. Let's stop arguing. We're getting played. We need to open our eyes and start looking at these crowds, start having security, start double checking and triple checking everybody that comes to your events. No more arguments. I don't want to hear no more rhetoric from Gavin Newsom, Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to read this again. This is a statement from the FCC after Jimmy Kimmel's statements on why Jimmy Kimmel was, and this is what I've been arguing. No one can debate this. And they said this in a way so they can't get sued. Do you know how litigious some people could be in Hollywood? So these are facts. Mr. Kimball's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and sensitive at a critical time in our national political disclosure. I create content on YouTube. The reason why that sentence matters is because Jimmy Kimmel has a television show. You get paid so I can run advertising. What helped me with my success with YouTube is I had to understand that I get paid so that YouTube can run advertising. If I don't abide by YouTube's community guidelines, then they cannot advertise and make money off of my content, which is the goal. Not because I look beautiful, which I do. I'm very handsome and shiny. That's not the goal. The goal is monetary compensation. So if Jimmy Kimmel makes off-putting comments, ill-timed comments during a political discourse, that affects my ability to sell, and his show already had low ratings. That affects my ability to sell advertising. Jimmy Kimmel is not a political Jimmy Kimmel is not supposed to be spouting Democratic rhetoric. This is not CNN. This is not ESPN. Jimmy Kimmel is not a political pundit. He's supposed to be a comedian and late night host where we sell stuff like my Lanta. Because old people are watching before bed. We want to sell my Lanta. We want to sell milk of magnesia. And Jimmy Kimmel is being politically charged. I can't sell advertising. It's not about Trump. Why is it lawfare, Obama? It's not lawfare. It's Jimmy Kimmel not following the community guidelines as content creators that we all have to follow, and being sensitive and being timely. My name of my podcast is the Perfect Timing Podcast. Do you know what the key to perfect timing is? Planning and execution. You cannot have perfect timing without planning and execution. I argue that Jimmy Kimmel planned those words, and that's why he was taken off the air. Listen to the FCC. We do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of local communities in which we are located. That is speaking to my ability to sell advertising. Jimmy Kimmel said these phrases, and now advertisers don't want to sell in these markets because they may be MAGA, they may be Republican. Damn, more than half of the country voted for Donald Trump. It was stupid, Jimmy. It was stupid and politically motivated, and that's not your job. Here it is. Local communities in which we are located, said Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar Broadcasting Division, continuing to give Mr. Kimmel broadcast a platform in communities we serve is simply not in the public. It ain't got nothing to do with Trump or Carr. Y'all only heard about Trump and Brandon Carr because Trump appointed Brandon Carr, but this is about money and advertising. I already knew that because I create content and I go back and forth with YouTube. And what YouTube has trained me to understand is that perfect. You need to create content that I can sell advertising, or I cannot promote your channel. If you are not sellable, then I cannot. That's why I created this whole person, so that YouTube now can sell ads against my content. And I have to be very vigilant to that fact at all times because I don't own the medium. Just like Jimmy Kimmel has a show, Perfect Timing Podcast, top of the mid-morning with an OG perspective, is a show that I created. But I need the YouTube platform. And listen to this to get it out. Now listen to this so you know it wasn't Trump. Continuing to give. Do you hear what I said? I said I need the YouTube platform to get out my show. Listen to this from the FCC. It wasn't lawfare, Obama. Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at this current time. That's cold. That's cold and calculated. I'm not giving you a platform. I can't take your show. So when they argue freedom of speech, all the comedians, all the black YouTubers who have no idea what they're talking about because they so racist and they want to see everything through color lenses, it's not about race. It's not about free speech. You just are a sensitive leftist radical Democrat. Jimmy Kimmel still has a show. Let me explain it to you. If you're a YouTuber, like the YouTubers who've been making dumb comments about First Amendment and racism, you have a show you create on YouTube. If you break the rules on YouTube, YouTube can cancel your show or YouTube can stop platforming your show on their platform. It doesn't mean they took away your freedom of speech. It doesn't even mean they took away your show. Your show still exists. The Jimmy Kimmel Show still exists. It just can no longer appear on the YouTube platform. You know what a lot of people do? They go to Rumble, they go to Kick, they go to other platforms if they get deplatformed from YouTube. Steven Crowder is a good example. Alex Jones is a good example. Alex Jones' show never stopped. You can't argue freedom of speech because he still gets to say what he wants to say. He just can't use certain platforms. You may argue that my audience is limited, so you're limiting my voice, but it's America, it's capitalism. I don't have to let you use my platform. It's just like I don't have to let you in my store. I can refuse service. It's not racism, dumb black YouTubers. It's not First Amendment, dumb YouTubers. Jimmy Kimmel still has his show, still can say whatever he wants. It's Next Star Media and its affiliates that are saying, I refuse to platform the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I can't stop Jimmy from saying whatever he wants to say. I just said, if he says those things, it is not in the best interest of the communities we serve. I have satellites. I have TV stations in certain areas of the country. Jimmy Kimmel offended those areas, so I'm not going to pump him out through my satellites and my TV stations. If you want to, you can. But that's not freedom of speech. That's not me telling Jimmy Kimmel what he can and can't say. That's why Jimmy Kimmel came on his show and said whatever he wanted to say, because he can say whatever he wanted to say, but I don't have to platform you. And that's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. But isn't it funny how the left media hasn't framed it properly? It take me, the black content creator, the black conservative, to give you the honest truth, to frame it for you. It's not First Amendment. It's not racism, because he never lost the ability to speak and say whatever he wanted. No one ever said you can't do the Jimmy Kimmel Show. No Nazi Gestapo came and took his microphone. You still have your studio. You still have your employees. You can do your show. You can put it out on YouTube. You know, remember Louis C.K.? Louis C.K. had a show. He created and produced on HBO. People loved it. It got canceled. Louis C.K. filmed the show for free. Louis C.K. recorded his show and then gave it to the public for free. The public loved the show so much that HBO re-signed him. And then Louis C.K. blew up. Remember, Louis C.K. had a sitcom on HBO. It got canceled. It was HBO or Showtime. Y'all help me out in the chat. It got canceled. He could have said freedom of speech. He could have said, they took my freedom of speech. They being racist. Louis C.K. did not whine. Black people need to take an example from Louis C.K. because you want to be the victim and always whine, thinking someone's taking something from you. Louis C.K. didn't holler racism. Louis C.K. didn't holler First Amendment. You know what he did? He spent his own money and recorded the show and gave it away to the fans for free. HBO saw how popular the show was and saw that they were losing ad revenue. Not that they liked Louis C.K. Hey, Louis, you're giving away the show for free. You should be selling advertising. Come on back to HBO. Come on back to HBO. Come on back. Because you're giving the show away. We missing money. You need to make money. I need to make money. You created a show. It's a popular show. Come on back to HBO so we can sell ads. Jimmy Kimmel. I love giving out information. Y'all got to know I love my show. I love my job. I love giving out information. I know a lot of my arguments are some of those things you can't refute. You can't refute some of my arguments. I know before you came here, you thought it was Donald Trump doing lawfare. Nope. This ain't Brendan Carr. This is Andrew Alford, president of Next Star Broadcasting Division. This isn't a federal appointee by Donald Trump. This is a businessman with his own business who has to sell ads like YouTube. I said this the first day. This is not lawfare. Again, this is Democratic leftists radicalizing people. Let's go to the Jimmy Kimmel. So we played Jimmy's We played Jimmy's first Colbert got canceled too. We played Jimmy's I played that already. I think I played that already.
detainees from an apartment building. Again, those details are still murky. It looked like it might have been a sniper or some sort of a long form shot. But as soon as we have more information, we will give that out. But we do ask the American public, please join us in praying for the victims, for our law enforcement. You know, we've been saying for months that the rhetoric around our law enforcement, particularly ICE, the dehumanization, the demonization, has spun so far out of control, and that someone is going to get hurt or someone's going to get killed.
I want to say on my channel, thank you for your service. Thank you, ICE. I know why you exist. I know how hard a job. I know it's a job. I know it's a federal job. They might not even get paid, but once a month, they don't get paid a lot of money. ICE agents have a job. It used to be in America where Americans understood work, but so many people, so many divorces, so many single parent homes, people don't understand and respect work. Thank you for your service. Can I get in the chat? Thank you for your service. We used to appreciate the military. Did you know the National Guard is part of the military who volunteer to protect you with their life? The Democrats are trying to radicalize you against your children and your neighbors, your brother who volunteers weekends to protect your life and your family and your community. Why would you be angry at a National Guardsman? You are supposed to tell them thank you when you see them in their uniform because you are a great citizen. National Guard, you go to work like me every day and you find time to volunteer. You go to work like me every day. You have a family like me. You live in America and you find time to volunteer for your country. Why would a Democrat leader create rhetoric to say that you should put up a resistance to the National Guard when you have murder in Chicago, when you have murder in DC, when you have illegal immigration in Los Angeles? Why would you want people to be afraid of ICE agents? They're agents. Number one, they're American citizens. Number two, they're hardworking American citizens. And ICE is a federal agency that was created because we actually have a need. I showed my audience yesterday photos of a protest where allegedly 3 million people, I think his name is Tommy Robinson, what was Unite the United Kingdom protests the weekend after Charlie Kirk's death. And they were protesting illegal immigration in the UK and Canada because they have liberal leaders. They have liberal, democratic, leftist-leaning leadership in the UK that is allowing immigration to overrun their country. And when they seen Donald Trump stop it by effectively using National Guard and ICE agents, and they realize now we don't have to put up with this illegal immigration anymore. We need a leader like Donald Trump. And instead of people understanding how great Donald Trump is as a leader, you get the rhetoric. And now we have 2 ICE agents murdered. I want to say thank you. Even more today, you know how difficult it's going to be for an ICE agent to get up, get dressed, leave his family. Get up, get dressed, leave his family, and then go to work. It's a difficult job. An ICE agent has to get up this morning, leave his family, and go to work. After how many ICE agents? It was 4 people killed. The shooter shot himself. It was 4 people shot, and I think 3 dead, 2 ICE agents and the shooter. I'm not sure on the reports are still coming out. The reports are still coming out.
Have multiple crews heading to this scene. We're also tapping into multiple sources right now to figure out exactly.
So here it is. It says, let me read the details. Everybody out there in TV land, y'all got the best podcast host. You got the best podcast host. I played you, Jimmy Kimmel. I played you both. Now we in DICE. Now we talking about Dallas ICE assassination because it directly connects to Jimmy Kimmel and Gavin Newsom's rhetoric last night. Isn't this funny that Jimmy Kimmel and Gavin Newsom got caught again just last night? That's a hot mic. That's a hot mic. And they want to say we're rigging 2026. Gavin Newsom, you are giving away the election. You are putting your foot in your mouth. Don't blame Trump when you give away the election by doing these idiotic things, right? Don't blame MAGA when Democrats keep making these stupid mistakes, right? Just checking on my chat. Sonia said, liar. Tell me why I'm a liar. Just checking on my chat. Salute to everybody. The chat going crazy. I told you guys, membership. This is why I say join the channel, become a member. Can't listen to this nonsense anymore. Well, tell me why, Angela C. Tell me why. And you saw Jimmy Kimball's rhetoric. You saw the. Let me read this detail. Let me read this for Angela. Let me read this for Angela. Let me go to these details for Angela. Because there's an MO to this shooting. Let's go to these details. It says Joshua Jan kills 2 detainees in Dallas ICE facility shooting. A 29-year-old gunman named Joshua Jan fired an AR-15 style rifle from a rooftop. Same, eerily similar to Charlie Kirk, eerily similar to the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life where he got shot in the ear. Fight, fight, fight. Can I get a fight, fight, fight in the chat? Can I get a fight, fight, fight in the chat for me one time? Put that fight, fight, fight in the chat for me one time. Let's get these details. We got to get these facts out to the people because I know that's the reason why a lot of people want to be in the chat and troll and say things to sound smart. They haven't done the research, but that's why I got the show. And I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me and watching me. Thank you for all of the likes. We got 188 people watching, 148 likes. Let's get another 40 likes so we can get 200 likes. Fight, fight, fight in the chat. Fight, fight, fight in the chat. I love you and thank you. I love you and thank you. A 29-year-old gunman named Joshua Jan fired an AR-15 style rifle from a rooftop near a Dallas ICE field office on September 24th, 2025, killing 2 non-U.S. citizen detainees and wounding a third in a transport van before dying from a self-inflicted gunshot. Authorities recovered ammunition marked anti-ICE, indicating an ideology motive against immigration enforcement with no ICE personnel harmed. The FBI, ATF, and DHS are investigating this as targeted violence, the 4th such attack on ICE sites in Texas this year. I did not know that. The 4th such attack, and they've been keeping it quiet. I think if we knew about 4 attacks like this, that Charlie Kirk would have had more security. Thank God you got somebody like me with the independent media and MAGA and conservatism giving out this information. So moving forward, like Steven Crowder said, we need to up our security and be prepared. You need to heighten your security. You need to have on armored vests. You need to have armed guards, and you need to be vigilant. Because the leftist radicals are out there and they are out there committing acts of violence by the buttload. I want to read to you the statement from federal FBI Director Kash Patel. Kash Patel says this morning, this is from Kash Patel's X account. This morning, just before 7 a.m. local time, an individual fired multiple rounds at a Dallas, Texas office facility, killing 1, wounding several. So this is not the most up-to-date information. Cash, you always be doing that, man. Cash, just be quiet sometime, Cash. That's not the most up-to-date information. What I read to you is the most up-to-date information. A lot of people don't know it, but it was an AR-15 style rifle from a rooftop. He killed 2 non-U.S. citizen detainees and wounded a third in a transport van before dying himself from a self-inflicted gunshot. So I have been reporting that an ICE agent was shot. That was not true. So I need to clarify those statements like Jimmy Kimmel, and I apologize. ICE agents were not shot. It turns out that it was a non-citizen. 3 of them were shot, and he shot himself. And this is the 4th attack on ICE facilities in Texas. This is sad, boy. This is sad. Michael Ross, get up out of here. I don't know who you thought you talking to, Michael. Get up out of here with that weirdness. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be going crazy in the chat while I'll be up here cooking. Don't let me get down in the chat and get the swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Don't let me get down in there in the chat and get the swiping. Huh? Swiper, no swiping. Huh? Jimmy Kimmel hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live on September 23rd following a brief suspension over comments on the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, where he clarified his intent was to critique politicalization of the tragedy without blaming any group. But he said MAGA. He said MAGA. Ain't that what Charlie Kirk said? Ain't that what Jimmy Kirk said? He said MAGA is trying to do everything to disassociate themselves from this guy and say that he's not one of them. Jimmy Kimmel said that this guy is MAGA and that MAGA is trying to do everything to disassociate them. That's what you said, Jimmy. In his monologue, Kimmel thanked supporters, including conservatives like Ted Cruz, Ben Shapiro, for opposing government overreach. It wasn't government overreach. I just read and explained. I just read to you from an affiliate why you got deplatformed. And your show was not taken away. Your voice was not taken away. It can't be First Amendment if you still can say whatever. Jimmy is a Democratic operative. And Ted Cruz is a butt. Ted Cruz don't need to be in politics no more, man. I'm tired of him. By the Trump administration, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, what I read to you was not from Brendan Carr. I'm the first person to present to you other affiliates and why they took them down. Trump couldn't make them take them down because if Jimmy Kimmel was profitable, listen to what I'm saying, just like I explained to you about YouTube. Trump couldn't make other affiliates take down the Jimmy Kimmel show if it was profitable. And let me say something else. Trump couldn't make them keep the show on the air if the show would be detrimental to their platform. Did you read what I said? He said, I took Jimmy Kimmel down because my affiliates don't want to watch it. And if he would have kept him on air, it would have affected his business and his brand. Even if Trump said, put Jimmy Kimmel back on air, that affiliate would say no. Because Jimmy Kimmel is affecting my ability to sell ads. My revenue, my stocks, my shareholders would not allow me to keep him on television. That's why he's not on TV, because America is a capitalist country and it's about capitalism and money and shareholders. And he said that too soon, and it's affecting dollars. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Can I get that in the chat one time? That's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So don't kill game, let the picnic commence. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That's exactly what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. I would love to read your statement, Patel, but you, Cash Patel, you ain't even got the up-to-date. Cash Patel ain't even got the up-to-date info, man. Yeah, Brandon Leslie said, Gavin Newsom, last night, Gavin Newsom said people need to push back on ICE agents because of the result of authoritarian government. This morning, a sniper shot up an ICE facility. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. I'm going to read that one more time. Last night, Gavin Newsom said people should push back on ICE agents because they are a result of an authoritarian government, not citizens, not Americans, not your brother. And this morning, a sniper shot up an ICE facility. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. There's your pushback, Gavin. There's your pushback, Gavin. That's what you wanted, Jimmy. That's what you wanted, Jimmy. There's your pushback, Jimmy. There's your pushback, Gavin. Thank you. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Jimmy. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. At all. So where is she? Let me see if we got any more to share with the people.
Sally port. So apparently it occurred when detainees were being brought into the Sally port. The shooter, we're not sure exactly where, he shot into that Sally port and struck at least 3 people. That's Lawrence, and that's why I mentioned that Sally port. So apparently it occurred when detainees were being brought into the Sally port. The shooter, we're not sure exactly where he was located, but was able to shoot into that Sally port and struck at least 3 people. That shooter now is down from this self-inflicted wound, so we may not know exactly what his plan was, what they were intending to do, other than to shoot people this morning at an ICE facility. We're learning more as we get it. And particularly, we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning.
Yeah, that's 5. The east side is where you see most of the traffic. People are probably slowing down to watch and see what's going on. Look at all of the police cars. There's so many lights. You go all the way up to the top. This is the access road in Texas. You have your main highway, and then you always have those access roads that run alongside or parallel to the highway.
Hey, Griff, I also noticed that some people are reporting the sniper was on a rooftop. Have you heard that?
So we don't have that confirmed ourselves, but I'm talking directly to ICE authorities, and we're going to learn more about that. But I did see a local report that there would be a rooftop. And Brian, as you look at both the map on our screen as well as the surrounding area of the law enforcement response, you can see several rooftops. And for anyone that's, been to a facility like this, the Sally.
One of the last things we're going to talk about today is I believe that these are not isolated incidents. I think Candace Owens alluded to that yesterday. I do not believe that these are isolated incidents. Remember when we had a talk about Discord, all of my members and moderators, I said, I don't think I'm going to create a Discord. I don't really like Discord. I don't want to be associated with the dark web. And I know Discord is not the dark web, but I don't really like Discord. And what's the one that Pete Hegeseth got in trouble with? I truly believe that these are not isolated incidents. I believe that we will find out in due time that there was a dark web chat, a Discord server where individuals who have been radicalized like this on the left spoke to each other about when and how they would commit these acts of violence, that they would inscribe the bullets, that they would use high-powered rifles from rooftops to do this damage. This is not by accident. I got a lot of people in the chat that could do investigation. I don't think these are isolated incidents. I do not. I think they have been radicalized on the left, and I think that they go into these dark web chats and servers because we have evidence of the other shooter and killer on dark web servers being radicalized, being initiated and told what to do, how to harm people. We know that this exists, right? And I think that we just don't know who are in these chats and what's being said in some of these dark back rooms. But what's being obvious to me today is a couple things. The Democrats are responsible for the violence and the rhetoric that we're seeing. There's no argument to that. Gavin Newsom got himself caught in the snare. Last night, he said push back on ICE agents. Today, ICE facility was shot and 3 people are now dead. Like there can no longer be any debate. And like I've said today, it's not worth it anymore. There's too much death. There's too much blood in the streets for conservative MAGA Republicans. It's not worth it for you to argue with people who don't want your best interests, right? What we need to do is be proactive about the fact that there are leftist radicals. It doesn't matter if Gavin Newsom if Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel do not admit that there is leftist radicals. We no longer are willing to debate that because we are no longer going to die. We're no longer going to sit by and debate Democrats over logical facts. I said Democrats want you to look at current events through colored lenses. They don't want you to look at all of these shooters and to look at the modus operandi. They want you to be looking at everything as a racist. They want you to hate ICE. You hear what Gavin Newsom said? Gavin Newsom said, if you're black and brown, why not say African American and Mexican? You should be insulted. I'm insulted. I'm insulted and I'm upset. He's yelling as a white man, a rich white man who's been a rich and powerful white man his whole life. And he's up there acting like a baby, saying, if you're black and brown, it's already here. If you're black and brown, authoritarianism is already here in the form of ICE. No, it's not. I don't feel like ICE is authoritarian, and ICE is not out to get me. And I have Mexican American subscribers and members who say in the chat every day, I love Trump and I don't fear ICE. Why? Because I have my ID, because I'm an American citizen. I don't fear the police or National Guard coming to the inner city because I'm not a criminal. I don't gang bang. I don't sell drugs. I want the National Guard in South Sacramento. I want the National Guard in Chicago. I want Chicago to be gang free, murder free. See, do you understand? But Gavin Newsom gets on television and wants you to put on your black and brown lenses. Look at the ICE issue as a black person. Look at the ICE issue as a brown person, not as an American citizen who might have a son or daughter who joined the National Guard. Because growing up in California, where we have a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Latinos join the armed services because they love America and they want to show America and other Americans how patriotic they are. So I know a lot of my Mexican friends and family do not associate or not afraid of ICE because they're citizens. We say to ICE, thank you for your hard work. Yeah, the ears is real. The nose, look at this nose. Y'all be focusing on the ears. Look at this big ass nose. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching and supporting. Ozzy Cosmo, no, look at the nose. The nose cover up like half my face. He said, are the ears real? And women love the ears, bro. Women love the ears, I promise you. They want to grab your ears, touch your ears. Thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Thank you, Lenny B. Thank you, David Hudges. I see you said hi. Hey, the Mr. Boski, thank you for helping out in the chat. Ozzy Cosby, thank you for doing your thing in the chat. Old Glory said, I heard the 3-shot and live thing were all detainees. No, not downplaying the act, but saying their death means less. I'm not just confused if that's true. Yeah, there were 3 detainees. It wasn't ICE agents. I retracted my statement and I said, I apologize for saying that an ICE agent was killed. That was incorrect. I was incorrect. Y'all saw the reports. We were reading the reports live. We were reading the information as it came in. One of the reports suggested that an ICE agent had got shot. That was corrected later. I corrected myself. Thank you for pointing that out, oh glory. So no, it was not an ICE agent as I corrected out. It actually was a non-citizen, more than one non-citizen. 2 non-citizens were unalived. Another one was injured and the shooter unalived themselves. So 4 people shot, 3 people dead in Dallas ICE facility shooting. 4 people shot, 3 people dead. And 3 of the people shot were non-citizen. He aimed from a rooftop with a high-powered AR-15 rifle with engraved bullets. and he aimed at a van. He aimed at a transportation van. He waited for the van to arrive because he knew ICE agents would be there getting people out, and he aimed at a van. I don't know if he meant to shoot non-citizens. That's probably unfortunate. Just like Charlie Kirk and the people around is very unfortunate. But so a lot of things similar, eerily similar to the Charlie Kirk homicide, where you had a high-powered rifle, you had someone yards away, a very young shooter. There's so much to talk about we didn't get to today as I close out. I'm over 2 hours already. That's my limit. A very young shooter, because that's a question always. Could this person have done the shot? This is a very young shooter. Could they do the shot with the gun, the AR-15, high caliber rifle? And then you saw the shell casings with the anti-ICE inscription on it. And again, on the roof from yards away. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. And then you have Gavin Newsom not backing off of the rhetoric, Jimmy Kimmel not backing off of the rhetoric. It's terrifying because of the style of homicide. It's sniper. Like, we haven't really talked about it. Okay? Like I grew up in a time of drive-bys. We're living, I said, I know the climate. I said, MAGA knows the climate. We're living in the climate of snipers. Donald Trump had 3 snipers. 3 attempts on Donald Trump's life. All of them were snipers, poised with high-powered rifles and sights. One guy was by the golf course for 5 hours. The other guy was on the rooftop in the cornfield for almost 20 minutes. Each time, it's the same MO. That's terrifying because it's going to be hundreds of yards away. Even if you check, you can say to me, perfect, I listen to you, I believe you. Even if I do my best security, the problem with the good security is the shooters are going to be 200 to 300 yards away on the rooftop. How do we do that? How do we protect from that? It's dangerous, brother. This is going into the 2026 campaign and the 2028 campaign. You're going to have to now factor in snipers. High velocity rifles. I don't know. You got to get like vests. Do you get like lights? What do you get? Deterrence? Is there a deterrent for a speaker? Remember, they used to have the bulletproof glass. Remember, the speakers used to have that bulletproof glass in front of them, and the glass would go up and it would bend like that. Maybe we got to bring that back for our conservative MAGA speakers when you're in public. I know you want to be closer to people, but I won't get mad, Trump. I love you. I need you to be here the whole 4 years. I won't be mad, Trump, if you bring back the bulletproof glass in front of the podium. I don't know what else to say because the debating with the Democrats is over. Debating with the Democrats is over, right? The debating with the Democrats is over. So now we in solution. We in solution now. So what we doing? We doing the bulletproof glass, drones. I know drone. We didn't even have drones back in the day. We didn't even have drones. So now I believe it's mandatory. I believe the Secret Service, if they don't already, I'm assuming they have the division already, but don't assume, because did you see Tucker Carlson's on the 9/11 Commission where I told my wife, and my wife didn't even believe me. I said the FBI didn't have internet. They didn't have computers until 2003. She said, nah. I said they had to send the hijackers pictures via the mail. My wife was like, nah, that's not true. So, you know, I would hope and pray that our tax dollars, because they got so much money that they can't find, I would hope and pray that our tax dollars is going toward the right things. And one of those things, they definitely should have a drone division. They most definitely should have a drone division, right? And expert drone pilots, right? I would hope FBI, CIA, even your local law enforcement. Remember, Amazon 20 years ago wanted to use drones to do deliveries, and they got told no because I think too many baby boomers were still in power. If they asked that question today, I think Amazon already delivers with drones. But if you guys remember, Amazon wanted to deliver with drones almost 10 years ago. That's when I first saw the first Amazon drone. And they said no, they couldn't get the legal regulations passed. But now they got some places where the Amazon drone can deliver packages. So yes, man, we got to have that drone technology now as part of security detail. That has to be part of security detail. That drone technology got to be part of the security detail. It's not even like a question. Going forward, because we got these sniper issues, You got to have a drone on and to cover all the rooftops. Ozzy said the Democratic Party is circling the drain and they are lashing out. Man, they were counting on all the millions of illegal and yep, for the next census, but Trump sent them packing. Exactly. Man, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting. Great conversation. Great anecdotal. You think so? If you have gotten in your heart, sorry, my phone likes to correct my words when I'm saying I don't know. You notice how when you talk to text, they don't like you to say the word God. Yeah, man. That's funny how that works, huh? That's funny how that works. But God bless you, though, and thank you for being here. God bless you. God bless the chat. God bless the president. God bless the memory of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, the kids. Thank you again. Thank you, America. And can we get a thank you to the ICE agents? I hate the way that this is. The Gavin Newsom is. That was horrible work. Thank you to the National Guard who volunteer their time for America. Thank you for your service. I don't know if you've even heard that. With all the rhetoric in Chicago and LA and DC, when the last time you've heard a thank you from the American people? You volunteer your time. The National Guard volunteers their time. Thank you to the National Guard. I don't know the last time someone told you thank you. We love you. Thank you for cleaning up DC. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for being an American patriot. Thank you to the National Guard. Thank you to ICE agents for doing a difficult job. It's not easy being a federal employee. There are people in the chat who are federal employees. It's not easy being a federal employee. Thank you for being an ICE agent. Thank you for doing your job. We saw the immigration. I saw $10,000 in food stamps. I saw multi-million-dollar going to New York hotels. I wanted it to stop. I voted for Trump. So I want to say thank you to ICE agents for doing your job and helping slow down the immigration. I appreciate you. I know it doesn't look like the type of person who typically would tell you thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your sacrifice. But you need to know all Americans, no matter what color, creed, sex, we all appreciate the hard work of an American citizen who would volunteer for their country. And I disagree with Gavin Newsom. I think we need to support ICE agents. How about that? I don't know why the Democrats don't bring people together. The Democrats are supposed to be the party of the minority and the poor guy, right? Right? How about we support ICE agents? Hey, there's a legal immigrant house down the street. It might be kids in there. So ICE agents don't got to pull out their gun. How about we support the National Guard? Hey, there's a crack house down the street. I'm sick and tired of it being there. I know I'm black, and because I'm black, I'm not supposed to snitch. I know I'm black, and because I'm black, I'm supposed to be okay with that crack house, but I'm not okay with it. I'm going to support the National Guard. Why isn't a Democrat saying that? As I leave, that's my last statement. Why couldn't Gavin Newsom bring us together? Why not support the National Guard in LA, who are your brothers and sisters and American citizens who volunteer? Hey, there are legal immigrants working in that factory down the street. Get them out of there so my son can get a job. Hey, there's gangbangers in that wash house. They never let me go wash my clothes. Get them out of there so we can wash our clothes again. How about we support these efforts? You don't have to push back. Has anybody ever said that? You haven't heard that one time. Democrats, the mayor in Chicago, everybody is telling you push back. No one ever said support your government. No one ever said the police need your support. Call 911. In Sacramento, there was a triple homicide. In Sacramento, there was a triple homicide in an apartment where the walls are paper thin and no one called the authorities. The police didn't know till the next day, 30 hours later. When my son say 5 hours later, not till the next day. And we paid multi-million dollars for a shot spotter system that's supposed to hear gunshots. They didn't hear 3 people homicided in South Sacramento. Call the police. Support your police department. Support the National Guard. Support the ICE agents. They're on your side. They're on your side. You're not a criminal. You're not an illegal alien. You don't have to push back. That's the most idiotic thing I ever heard. Gavin Newsom, I'm not fucking illegal. I'm not fucking a fucking criminal. Why should I push back? Thank you, Trump. Thank you for volunteering ICE agents. Thank you for your service. I'm not pushing back on ICE. I'm not pushing back on the National Guard. I support them and I thank them. Lucky Lady T said, I will never support anyone who says awful things to his own citizens. That is the hypnosis of the Democratic Party, where you lead with your feelings. You are affected like a child by what someone says about you. I mean that in the most disrespectful way possible. You are like a child, and most Democrat liberals are like children. And they believe they have the right to act out violently and emotionally based on what someone says. That's where cancel culture came from. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, they tried to cancel him, but Dave Chappelle's joke was about a transgender attacking him violently. See how it manifests on your side? A transgender, Dave Chappelle's joke was about reminding that transgender who wanted to attack him violently that you're white. No matter what you think you are, LGBT man or woman, you are a white transgender. And when I fought you back, you called the police and you weaponized whiteness. You are like the same children who don't know how to handle their emotions. This is why the violence is occurring in the nation. Your logic says, he said something about me, teacher, so I got a baseball bat and hit him over the head. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's illogical. You said Timmy called you a name, so you hit him over the head with a baseball bat. That's not how you process your emotions. Timmy might be attracted to you. That's not how you process your feelings properly. See, we have a mental health crisis. Words don't matter. You've been trained by democratic Marxists. Words don't matter. You think the words matter. See, the people who are doing the shooting, see, the Democrats understand how they raised you. Do you understand all the shooters are the same age? In that generation, words matter. The Democrats use words like authoritarianism to trigger you. Do you understand trigger? Trigger is not from my generation. I don't get triggered by words. I'm going to say it again. Triggered is not part of my generation. I don't get triggered by, I get called lazy bones, Ozzy. How many times do I get called the N-word every day? If I was triggered, if words matter, I mean, this is a real life anecdotal example, and I love you. You have a beautiful thumbnail. You look like a beautiful sister. Lady Lucky T, if words matter, I would quit doing YouTube because I get some horrible words. I don't quit. Ozzy Kazi, Mr. Boski, Mrs. Perfect Timing. Can you speak to that? Lazy Bone said words matter, but they are not violence. I argue, he said, my N-word don't get triggered. You gonna get in trouble. Triggered is a term for this generation. Why did they have to create gaslighting and these new terminologies in this lexicon? You have terms like crash out, gaslighting, triggered because the young people who grew up without a father in their home don't know how to handle their emotions, and words trigger them. This is not normal behavior. I wish somebody would have taught you guys this. It's not normal behavior to allow words to trigger you to violence and to not associate, to cancel. You think you get to cancel someone for what they say. Charlie Kirk, you can't cancel him. Jimmy Kimmel was not even canceled. Jimmy Kimmel, what you know what was great about the Jimmy Kimmel lesson is that he still had a show. He's still on TV, just not everywhere because of his actions. Your Unc glasses like the goblin banker in Harry Potter. Your uncle ain't got these. You see this? Do you see this? Your uncle ain't got these. Do you see that turtle shell? Do you know what that sign is? Do you know what that is? You don't know what that is. These is OJ killers, baby. These is OJ. If it don't fit, you must have quit. Sergio Ferragamo. Y'all remember OJ? Killing that white thing, OJ. Sergio Ferragamo, OJ. Your uncle ain't got these. And I love you. You know I gotta have a little fun. I'm just having a little fun, but your uncle ain't got these. You see the gold frames? You see the gold, solid gold frame? Your uncle ain't got these. Turtle shell, gold, solid gold. Your uncle ain't got these. Shout out to your unc though. Unks is having it their way. Shout out to the unks, man. Shout out to the unks, man. Top of the mid-morning from an OG perspective, man. Somebody came. Oh my God. This would happen when you stay on after 2 hours. Somebody came and said the secret is semen retention. and his name is Octavia Martin. And that's his first name. Both of those names is his first name. Octavia Martin. The secret is semen retention. I love you. I fucking love you. I love you, God. Oh, God. I can't ask for a better audience. The secret is semen retention. The secret is No Flap November. What's his name? Octavia. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait. Woo! No Flap November is coming up, Octavia, so you're going to get your wish. Hey, should I grow out the beard for No Flap November? I'm going to ask my wife. Hey! My wife is here, my Sicilian wife. I love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 11 a.m.